So, before I started this project, I really didn't know much about yoga. I'd taken yoga classes before and I'd done yoga, but I didn't know where it originated from or how it started. Most people think that yoga is rooted at Buddhism or Hinduism, but actually, yoga predates these religions by many years. Also, a man named Patanjali created the Yoga Sutras, the first time yoga was actually written down, because before that it was passed from student to teacher. So I tried to do research about how yoga has changed from ancient India to India today, but I really couldn't find much information about how it's changed. I think that makes yoga unique because many other sports and physical activities have changed as people have become more educated on how the human body works. Yoga has changed in certain ways, but most of those ways are when it was brought to the West and it evolved because of Western culture. The first yoga studio in Hollywood was opened by a woman named Inda Devi in 1947. I think that this helped make yoga become more popular because when something becomes popular in Hollywood, it becomes popular in the rest of the US as well, generally, because Hollywood is such an influential place and people look there for trends in fashion. Yoga can be found in many places all across the US, especially in the Bay Area. I've taken yoga classes at the Y and also at Yoga Kula on Shattuck, and I've heard good things about yoga to the people. It's really easy to find a yoga class in the Bay Area. Yoga has two main focuses. It is partly focused on improving the mind and the spiritual part of it, but it's also focused on improving the body and becoming healthier. In India, people are generally more spiritual. It's a generally more spiritual society than the United States is. So it would make sense for people in India to be more focused on the spiritual benefits that yoga brings rather than the physical ones. Also in India, people are more predominantly Buddhist, and Buddhism has incorporated some of the practices of yoga into its religion. So in India, yoga takes a more spiritual religious form than it does in the United States. In the United States, people are more focused on body image and obtaining the perfect body. So people use yoga for the physical benefits of it more in the United States, and they're more focused on getting toned and becoming more flexible than improving their mind. When practicing yoga, whether your focus is on the spiritual part of it, the physical part of it, or both, you can get great benefits from doing yoga. As technology has become more advanced, it's been easier to do yoga at home without actually having to go to a class. If you can't afford to go to yoga classes regularly, you can just go to the library and check out an exercise video, and then you can do yoga at home. You can also go online and try to look up yoga poses that you can do just by yourself at home. That way you can get exercise without having to pay for a whole class. Although the poses in yoga didn't change much over thousands of years, the adaptation of yoga in different societies changed greatly. So I believe that yoga has evolved differently in the US than in India, because generally speaking, the culture in India is more spiritual based than the culture in the US. So the parts of yoga that are more spiritually based are gonna be more relevant in India than in the United States. Like when yoga was brought to the United States, people were more focused on exercise because certain places in the US have somewhat an obsession with fitness and the perfect body. I believe that culture changes over time and space because of the needs or wants of a certain society. The same practice or idea can evolve differently in different societies based on the values, beliefs, and wants of that society.